Hi. Hi, Angie. Hi, Manish.
Hi.
Hi, Angie. I saw Manish said hi in the chat. I assume maybe you're not able to speak, which is fine. Um, yeah, happy New Year, everyone. Uh, this is the Python SDK community call. It is a place for you to talk about the things that matter to you and ask for help or anything like that. Um, I'm just going to remind anyone else if they want to join. Okay. So maybe we can start with an overview of what's happened in the Python SDK over the last month and what's changed. Um, and then we can talk about if anyone wants to suggest any direction to take the Python SDK or like anything they want help with. So the main thing is we haven't done a new release. We are on version 0.1.10. That was December 3rd. Our changelog is super big now. In the unreleased version, we have so many things that are added, so many things that are changed, and so many things that are fixed. And I think we have some deprecations like that were previously announced and are now going to be deprecated. I have to check all this and just check if they should move to the bottom or something. We also have like significant upgrades coming up, like TLF, and there was something else, I think, like node switching. So that raises the question of, do we want to release 0.1.11 or should this be a 0.2, which is like a more major release? I'm siding with it being a more major release. I would have liked to have been able to release this in like smaller chunks, because I guess it's scary as a developer updating from 0.110 to 0.2 and then such a long change thing. So I'm gonna have to try and make this as easy as possible. But yeah, this is kind of what happened. And we just have to decide, is it 0.2 or 0.1.10? Anyone have any opinions on that? Hi, Priyanshu. Just so you just joined, we're talking about a new release. Okay, so my instinct is to release this as 0.2. I'm going to wait for another maintainer to be available to confirm that and just to check everything is as safe as possible to release or as well documented as possible. So I expect maybe that will be next week when everybody's back on holidays and things like that. So yeah, that's where we are with this. We made super big progress over the holiday periods to improve the bots. And I think we're quite automated now. I don't personally think that there needs to be like a big focus on that. We do have some issues, but they're now like small bug fixes. It's not usually like create a whole new bot, and it's not like a super important, or like it is important, but it's not, blocking us. Before, when we were onboarding like all the new developers, it was super overwhelming when we had like everyone getting stuck on signing, everyone stuck on merge conflicts. And I think we've mostly automated that now. And we have our AI code rabbit, which is prompted to review things pretty well, and it has some context now So hopefully it's like less spammy. We do need to probably improve it to reduce the spam. And also, I think I didn't know, but when you write priority 1, it like interprets it as like critical and it will flag it as like you must change this right now. So there are some things to refine with that. Manish, I know you were like working on some of the research for it too. So anyway, if anyone has any ideas on how to improve the CodeRabbit feedback, open up issues, I wouldn't recommend making an issue that like fixes everything in CodeRabbit, but just maybe like focus on just examples. I think what's probably a good idea is to do like do not instructions, like do not do this, do not do that. I think we can probably get less spammy by doing things like this. So just keeping like general guidelines maybe, and then just having some clear do not things. But yeah, so that's like, if anyone's able to break this down into like chunked issues with solutions, that's really appreciated. I'll keep having a think about it. Other than that, I think that's one of the nice things that we would want to have. But the key argument that I'll be making and I want to discuss today is we're mostly done with the bots. So the next phase going into 2026, my opinion would be trying to double down on the blockchain specific issues and trying to just level up the functionality of the core source code. So that's what I would like to change the focus more towards. And I think if that's what other people want to do as well, then we're going to have to think about how we can do that. I think we all have to learn like new methods to find, missing classes and how they all relate and things. So yeah, that's like my view. I want to do like a round robin today. So I will give each of you guys like some time to talk about what you want to suggest for the Python SDK in 2026. And hopefully after all this, we'll come up with a nice plan and we have a good chunk of work to do over the next few months and we can work together on it. So Manish, I am not sure if you are able to speak, but you are first on the list here for me. So would you like to type any suggestions that you have for 2026? Yeah, I see you unmuted yourself, but I can't hear anything. Oh yeah, maybe I
Like I'm audible now.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so it was like issue with my mic, but yeah, like, now it's like working. So I'm like for like 2026, I'm like planning to figure out what is like missing in the current SDK and like try to improve the overall methods, the fields, and especially to add some new transactions, like the hooks functionality to the Python SDK. And like currently, like these are like what I want like to add to the Python SDK in 2026.
Okay, great. Thanks for your suggestion. Next on the list for me is Angelina.
Hi, good morning. What I think we should add is definitely a focus on the blockchain DLT. I have been doing a little bit of research. I'm not sure what we can and cannot implement. I don't know what the SDKs have and do not have in terms of when we compare one to the other, but I definitely think we should push further in through blockchain. So I will be taking a look at a few methods, double checking and seeing what Manish said of what we have and don't have, especially because I've heard from a couple of people that the SDKs are different in the sense that some of them have certain things while others don't. So that is something I would definitely like to bring to our attention to kind of keep it all the same. That way when someone knows Python and they want to move on to something like Swift or C++, they can do those same things because that SDK also has those same capabilities.
Okay, awesome. I am writing these things down in the chat, by the way. So once everyone has, said their 2026 wishes and things, we can talk about it and we can form plans to get it done. Great, super. Thanks for that, Angelina. And next on the list here is Munil. Is there anything you would like to see in the Python SDK in 2026, or would you like to recommend?
Hi everyone. I didn't do the proper research required for this kind of suggestion, so I will rather do some more research and then bring into notice. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, sure. In that case, if you have like any questions for us, so maybe you don't have particular like suggestions for 2026, what you'd like to see in the Python SDK, but if you have questions like, I'm confused how to get started in this area, or I want to learn more about like how to become a committer, or things like this. I think I'm going to try and talk about that right after the 2026 things, if you're able to stick around for maybe another 10 minutes. So right now I will write down Munil, possibly have some questions, and just leave you some time for that as well. That would be really good as well. So yeah, have a think if you have any questions. But thank you, and Priyanshu.
For me, is same like the improving functionalities, like the things we have in Python SDK and we are not having like, in other SDK. So having some centralized things so everybody can utilize, not us as a Python SDK members, but if someone in like we had or C++ don't have that functionality, so they can also easily compare. So I started learning from like Manish itself. I get some protobuf things. I'm learning that. Yeah, that much.
Okay, so I have written all these comments down in the chat. Angelina, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I totally forgot about this. The other goal I thought we could have is trying to improve training and documentation for new starters, especially because when it comes to protobufs, I know that it's confusing for a lot, especially me personally. So I think having that training and having that understanding would definitely give them a much more solid ground and feel a little bit more confident taking on more advanced issues and advanced roles on the SDK.
So when you say roles, do you mean like committer? Because you were
Mm-hmm.
talking about
Yeah.
protobuffs, which for me is like a coding.
So I know that for some of the maintainer roles, or not some of them, I should say for the maintainer roles, I know they have the opportunities and abilities to merge changes. Like they have merge capabilities. And my thinking is, as somebody coming into that, they would eventually want to grow into that role and be given the responsibility of having that ability to merge changes. And I think feeling a little bit more confident and knowing that the merge that they do won't break anything makes it a lot easier for them to stay within the project, maintain the project, and help keep things moving. Sorry, I'm losing my words today.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so actually both maintainers and committers have merge capability. So let's say that you are a triage member and you progress to be a committer, you can technically merge. That doesn't mean that you want to merge and review everything. For example, you could like review as many things as you want. You can approve the things that you want, and you can merge the things that you're confident with. So sometimes you want to merge very few things, but approve a little bit more things and ask for a second opinion from another committer or a maintainer. So the idea is, yeah, with time, you'll be building up the confidence to be able to merge more things. And I think you see that with the way that I also do things sometimes, that there are some things that I will merge quickly, some things I will sit on for a few days, and some things that are already approved. I think this one is approved, but I have requested like a second opinion and things. And Manish is a committer, so Manish is also able to approve and merge things. So you just only need to be a committer, but yeah, I agree with you. It takes a little time to build the skills. Okay, I noticed that Akshat joined the call just recently. So Akshat, understand that I might just be throwing this at you, but we are talking about 2026 plans for the Python SDK. You don't need to have any plans. It's more like if you want to suggest for us to do something, to focus more on some things, this is the chance to say that. So just to recap what we have been talking about, I'm going to copy it in the chat again so you can see. So basically, the general ideas so far have been like, I would like to see more blockchain-based coding. For example, like, less of this GitHub Actions documentation, this kind of thing, more blockchain coding. Angelina additionally would like to learn some more of like the committer skills and the committer blockchain coding for that. So is there anything you want to add to that list, Akshat? There will also be an opportunity for questions right after this chat. So if you have any questions, that's fine too. But for now, it's just yeah, what would you like to see in the Python SDK? And if you are not able to talk, feel free to type anything in. Okay, so feel free to just add that to the chat whenever you want. Right, so that means like the general consensus for me, looking at everything, I don't know if everyone agrees, is basically we need to go heavy on like the blockchain coding. The question I have is like how we're gonna do that. Munil, would you, sorry, not Munil, Manish, would you like to talk a little bit about how you are identifying these blockchain issues and if that's sort of like a repeatable process, if other people can learn that as well?
Yeah.
Some ideas, but I want to, yeah, just you are clearly really succeeding with that. Manish has been creating these blockchain issues regularly. I know lots of you have been working on them, so Manish has the skills on this.
Uh, so like most of the issue that I created are like by not by like going to the protobuf, because like it is like most time consuming process. So like you want to like look at like each class. So what I do is like currently what I am like doing is that when I'm like trying to solve an issue on like the current issue in the Python SDK, most of the time it happens like it is like already implemented in like say the JS SDK or like the Java SDK. So like while debugging what is happening for that particular issue, I come across like some fields or some classes that is like currently missing, and like that's how I just come around for like this sort of some missing fields or some classes that we can add. And second thing that I think helped me is I have like used the Java SDK. I'm like currently using that. You can like say I'm like playing with the Java SDK to like figure out what the functionality it has, how the transactions are working, or like what sort of classes it provides. Yeah, that's the other thing that helps me. But I like also validate it by looking at the protobuf. So like some of them are deprecated in that. So I think like it is like not useful to bring it into the Python SDK. That's all what I used to like create the issue.
Manish, do you have the link for the protobuf just to show everyone like
Um,
I think maybe I remember you typed it here.
Yeah, I have like added it in the chat.
Okay, thanks. Oops. My screenshot died, 1 second. Yeah, so I don't know how you want to like explain the protobufs and maybe how they're structured. Like everyone, I would recommend you like save this link. So because we are coding the Python SDK to talk with the Hiero network or like other Hiero-based networks, but basically that talk with Hiero. This is where the requirements are basically on how to form your transactions. This is, and it's written in protobufs, which are like this language agnostic way of looking at things. So is it in services? I can't remember. Yeah. So yeah, so they kind of look like this. I don't know, Manish, do you want to explain what they are and like why they're important?
Yeah, so like I basically like mostly use the Java programming language. So like for me, like the realm ID, like the message realm ID represent like the class, and like inside there, like this is the field. So in like protobuf it can be like in 64, so in or 32, but like we can like take it as an integer in a Python. And I think like the realm IDs, so if you can like go down a bit, like for example the token ID, yeah. So if you like compare it to the Python class, it is like the token ID class, and then it has some fields, for example the shared num realm and the num value for the token. And yeah, so that's how like I look at the field. And like for some time there is like it have like a marking that's saying like this is deprecated, so I just ignore that.
Yeah. Okay, so you're trying to make sure the Python class ends up doing this. Okay, yeah, so there's like so many of these protobuf files that explain what each type of transaction or thing should look like. What would be some example maybe that you are familiar with? Like token associates. So this tells you like all the requirements, like it's an account and you need to pass a repeated list of tokens. So when you create the Python transaction for token associate, you need to make sure that you're passing a list of token IDs. And then it tells you a whole bunch of other things required. So that's how we built the transactions in the first place. Okay, so this is like how to identify issues. Manish and I, we were talking about maybe forming like a meeting or something that would be like every week. I don't know, every 2 weeks, what would be like a good idea, but the idea would be in this meeting together, we could look at a few files in the Python SDK. We can look at like token associate, token dissociate, and like together we can pass through some of the fields. We can talk about if it's complete. As Manish said, sometimes like this says something's deprecated, or and we can answer the questions there, and slowly we will build up the skills to like identify some of these missing functionalities. Manish, did you get like a date for that, or like what were your plans for this? I mean, Manish is the one with the skills here, really. So yeah, they would be mostly his initiative if that's possible.
Yeah, I think it will be like good to have it from like the next week. Like I can confirm it by the next week.
Yeah. we haven't really asked people like what kind of dates or times they are available. But I'm guessing if you guys are all here, this sort of time is roughly good for people. Maybe this kind of time, maybe on a different day. Does anyone have like any strong yes or strong no for that? Munel has a thumbs up. So what Manish would have to do, he would have to contact Jessica to upload that to the Linux Foundation calendar. So this is the time to like tell us what kind of times and things would be a bad idea. Yeah, okay, there's a lot of thumbs up, so I'm guessing something similar to that. But maybe we can talk about this in a discussion area. Maybe we can announce it in the Python SDK, right? We have where is this? We have like a discussion tab. Maybe a good thing would be is to like open up Manish when you have an idea. Okay, I'm gonna propose like Tuesday 2 p.m. UTC for this like intermediate issue identification or something. We can just post it as a discussion. That way everyone has like a chance to say this time doesn't work, this day doesn't work, and we can try and figure something else. That's what I would probably recommend. Yeah, I think that would be a good step forward. Like it actually takes a little bit of time to identify these missing issues. You learn a lot of things in the process, like it's worth doing. But yeah, if we're able to have more people skilled in that, then that means we can have more issues available. The other thing I was thinking is we can like form relationships with the users of the SDK and talk with them and try and figure out how they're finding the SDK. Are they finding it easy to use? Could something be simpler? Do they have any missing functionality that they would like? So I've been trying to figure out who uses the SDK and things, and I've talked about like the AI team that has opened up issues previously. I think these guys. I saw that they opened up issues, so I'm trying to figure out, okay, what are they working on? Are they using the SDK? And okay, that doesn't let me jump to this. But they're working on like a Hiero agent kit for Python. So it would be great, in my opinion, if we are able to build more relationships with this team and other teams that create issues. I hoped in we have like a community call announcement bot, and I was hoping like it would post on their issue, and then they would want to join and we can talk about that. But yeah, that's another way of generating blockchain issues. So yeah, going into 2026, I would love to see more blockchain issues. I think we're ready for that. I think we would have to just train more people in terms of how to build those higher level skills. Anyone else have any ideas on how to get more blockchain based issues and identify them? Okay, I mean, if that changes, let us know, because we would love to have more issues. The question is just like, how do we do that? You could also try and find flaws in the SDK, right? It might not always be like finding new issues. You might decide, okay, I am going to try and use the SDK and I'm going to try and find bugs in each of the class. I'm going to pass strange variables and all these things. So you could always go like down that route and try and see what generates unexpected behavior. So you can try and spot bugs in the SDK, and that will help us to see that we are missing issues. And then a final idea that I had is we could improve tests. Manish, we were talking about this ourselves a little bit about how the Python SDK might benefit from improved tests. So our tests are located here. We have integration tests and we have unit tests. Quite a lot of these were created like fairly quickly. And we didn't have like a clear framework in mind with what we wanted to see with the test. So we have a lot of tests, and I think this has helped us to prevent bugs and catch bugs and things, but these can probably be improved. So right now we have something called code coverage to help us. So where is it? 1 second. So code coverage checks the coverage of our unit tests, not our integration tests. But based on this, we have some things that are untested. So sometimes when you create tests, that could be a good way to find out that there's bugs in your SDK because you hadn't tested it before, you hadn't noticed it before. So this is like a really nice interface. Let me give you the link to this. This is definitely another way to be able to find issues and maybe eventually lead to like things that we should improve. So as you can see, for example, like executable or channels only has like 80% coverage. And this tells you in red the stuff that you haven't tested very well. So you'll learn a lot by doing that, and then you could also help us possibly find some bugs. Just make sure whenever you create tests, don't just test like the perfect scenario, try and push some odd variables and things like that, try and test unhappy path situations as well. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to focus on 2026. If we want to get more blockchain issues, we need to do like these 4 things sort of simultaneously. Yeah. Does anyone want to kind of, I don't know how much time or anything anyone has to influence to spend on this, but yeah, if anyone wants to specialize in any of these areas, that would be probably quite appreciated. So like, ideally we have someone taking charge of like trying to improve the tests and training the people to do that and things. Another person trying to spot bugs, this kind of thing. That way we work together on the same goals. But maybe have a think about that. And if you do have anything to suggest, let us know. All right, finally, so the last thing, now that we've talked about 2026, and I'm sure we'll be thinking about how to get these things done and everything, there was some time for questions. So here is your opportunity to ask anything and everything that you want to talk about the Python SDK or like Hiero in general. Munil says, we can compare with other Python SDKs for transactions and see what features are missing or what is to be improved, something like that. Exactly. The Python SDK is one of the newer SDKs around. So we built it in the last year. We built lots and lots of different transactions and classes and things like that. But we might not have as much functionality as some of like the older SDKs. So Manish was talking about the Java SDKs being a good reference because it's just a lot more established. So they've had way more time solving bugs and adding requests and things like this. Another example is the JavaScript SDK. And that's another opportunity as well to like improve another language. So yeah, if we're able to get this meeting where we're like kind of all like available 2 p.m. UTC on a certain day, then we can join forces with that. And so it's not that Manish has to do everything and find all the issues, but we will all learn how to do it. And that way we can have like lots more exciting things in the SDK. Yeah. Do you want to talk about that, Munal, or does that answer your question? It answers my question. Okay, if you have a second one, let us know. Does anyone else have any topic or questions they want to talk about? I'll give you guys like 3 minutes to have a think. If there is sometimes like getting asked while you're being pressured is scary. So I'm just gonna give you like 2 minutes just to jot down any questions. I have some other things I want to talk about, so I'll write them down in the chat as well. And then hopefully in 2 minutes or so we have some more things to talk about. So yeah. Put anything in the chat. Give you 1 more minute to think of any questions you have. Okay, there's 1 thumbs up on my question. No other questions yet, but if you do have any, please add them in. This is your chance. There's no other community call for another 2 weeks. So one of the things I want to talk about is I would like to propose growing the Python SDK team. And I can't approve that. That's up to the broader Hiero community to say yes or say no. What I would like to do is create a handful more of triage members because I still feel we have need for a lot of help on the Python SDK. There's always things to do. There's always things to review. And I know we're all spending a lot of time on it, and I don't want to stress anyone too much. So, and we also have some people that are really passionate about the Python SDK that are not yet part of the junior committers. So I would like to propose a couple other members for that. So this team has read access. They can do everything that a committer can do, but I think they can't merge. We need to grow our committers quite urgently, but we need to be careful when growing the committers because they have write access. So this means if you wanted, you could merge something. As described, you might not. That doesn't mean that you should merge everything. You should like understand what your circle of competence is, understand what you're comfortable with. And sometimes you want second opinions with things, but yeah, you can merge. You can also approve things, and your approval is enough to merge. So I want to grow this team because right now Manish is our most active committer, and Manish has had so much on. like Manish has been finding all these new issues and has been solving lots and lots of things, working on really hard problems. So yeah, it would be good to have more committers and also just have more diverse opinions. Like Manish and I have been sort of dictating what's going to be in the Python SDK, and I know I make mistakes. I know that, like, you know, I merge something and 1 week later I'm like, okay, maybe this document that explains how to do signing, maybe it's better to have moved it somewhere else and things. It's just good to have different opinions and more of a debate. So definitely want to be growing the committer team, and also want to be growing the maintainer team. So right now I am the most active maintainer, and we are merging like 5 pull requests per day, but some of these other maintainers are not available on a daily basis, on a regular basis. So I really need some help to make sure that everything is as diverse in its opinions as possible, and as you know, robustly tested and robustly checked. So I think that's really important, to have more maintainers, to have more committers, and to have more in the triage team as well. Does anyone have any opinions on that? Right, like part of what I'm saying is debate is really good. I really want to be able to have more people that just bounce ideas off each other and try and decide what to do. So do you think that we need more triage people? Do we need more committed people? Do we need more maintainers? Should we go round robin? Like, you guys, some of you are triage, some of you are committers. Do you want to just say, yeah, we need more people, or I would like to have more training? Angie, do you want to start first? Like, what's your view on this?
I definitely do think we are going to need a few more maintainers, especially to help us move us along, because I know it's a lot for just one person to handle. So in that regard, yes, I definitely do think we need more maintainer side. Triage members, I do think it would be good to add them additionally. Think triage is a nice introduction to give like trying to think of my words here. It's like a nice way for people to learn how to review. They get familiar with it. They don't have so much anxiety when it comes to posting a review. I know the triage team has definitely given me more confidence in reviewing. So I say that from my perspective. I can't speak on anybody else. But I definitely do think that these teams can grow, especially having more people who have the time for this is wonderful because it does keep things moving pretty quickly and it keeps maintainers, or I'm sorry, contributors engaged and wanting to come back and work on more and more.
Yeah, totally agree. Akshat, what do you want to see, like, on the member side of things? Do you want pull requests reviewed faster? Do you want, like, I don't know, what do you want to see? Okay, if you have something in mind, just write it in the chat as well. Manish, you definitely said yes, we need. So I'm really interested to hear your opinion, like what exactly do we need? And also maybe how we can get that done. And that's actually a very popular opinion. I see 2 thumbs up there. So Manish, do you want to say what your opinion is?
I think we need a couple of more members for like in the triage as well as committer to like review the pull request, because pull request it has like currently taking a lot of time. So yeah, that will be like useful.
Yeah, it's useful. Okay, so Munil, do you have something you want to say about that?
Yes, I agree with Manish as well as Angelina about this thing, about the triage. It
Yeah.
surely gives confidence to people about reviewing, and also it helps get to know more about the SDK. Like if I speak personally, right now I mainly focus on the issues I am doing. If someone becomes a triage member, it just motivates him or her to check out the other pull requests as well, and that way even he grows and it also helps the SDK grow. That's my point of view.
I mean, I think that's really good that there's such positive feedback with the triage members, because like as a learning opportunity and a confidence building opportunity, because I think the Python SDK is the only one that has junior committers, that has these triage members. Like this was something that we just decided to add because we thought we needed like an intermediate step. So I will definitely want to feed that back to like the broader Hiero community, that this is just such a positive way to build experience, build interest in the other pull requests, like connect more with the project, and yeah. Priyanshu?
Like I want to just add the committers, like I don't have like okay that we want to increase the team, that's true, but I want to add a safety guard to this, like additionally the committers can have a developer branch. Like we should mainly focus, like right now we are directly merging to main. I think we can increase a safeguard level to developer branch. We create a developer branch, we create there, and then we should be adding to main. So like I think I have that thing in my mind to mention. So the committers can merge in the developer branch, and the like maintainers can merge from developer to main. So that could be our two level of safeguard around our production part.
Yeah, I
So
think
yeah,
I'll write that down. Yeah, so there are safeguards applied in other Hiero repositories. Like sometimes you need 2 approvals for every pull request, and certain people's opinions like count more than the others and things. Yeah, definitely I think we should have conversations about that as the team grows, and we definitely want people to feel confident that the things that they are going to do is going to help the SDK, not harm the SDK. So yeah, that could be a good idea. I think, you know, today we don't have too much time to talk about that, but
yeah,
yeah, I will write it down, and let's talk about that next community call, about like how to create like a safe like committer and maintainer kind of thing. Okay, great. So clearly we want to grow the team, but the question now becomes like what do you have to do to be eligible for this team? So there's documentation in Hiero in general that generally says to be a committer you need like 3 to 6 months roughly of experience, around 3 months possibly minimum. So for example, like this kind of time period is the usual thing that Hiero as a whole, because remember, it's not just what I think, it's what Hiero as a whole thinks. Okay, are you eligible? Do you have like are you showing up to the Python SDK on a regular basis? Do you enjoy it? Do you care about the project? Are you contributing regularly on like diverse enough issues? Are you building up the skills? Are you reviewing things? So that kind of time period, like 3 months, something like that, is kind of like a good starting point to think about things. Being a committer, you need to show the responsibility that like the code that you have is like well tested, right? You know, you're going to be responsible. You will have the ability to merge to main. So we really want to be able to know that you know how to check that code is well tested, that you can read and understand the code, that you approve the things that you are more confident with, that you ask questions on the ones that you're not. So yeah, I think all of these things require some skills, and that's why the junior committer status is important. So usually we want to be seeing like 3 months, that this kind of thing. We can accelerate it a little bit, but we can't push it that far. we still need to see that there's a lot of commit activity, because you need to demonstrate to other people that you have the ability to understand the code and you know. For a triage role, it's more read access. So what I am more interested in that is like, do you have the passion? Are you interested in the project? Do you want to you know, be part of the team? Do you want to contribute in various ways? Like, so and also, have you built up some understanding with like how our workflows things? So for me, that's usually like around 5 commits, that kind of you know, that kind of idea. So for example, you know, a month or a couple of months of activity with a few commits, that kind of thing. As a maintainer, as described here, or as a committer, as described here, you're going to have certain roles. So committers, not only do they have write access, but you are responsible for creating more of these intermediate issues, more of these advanced issues, as well as coding some of the things that we need. So you know, you are now on the more heavy code side based of things as a committer. So there's a slight shift in that direction. So I think Manish is doing an excellent job at being at fulfilling those responsibilities, and it's really good to look up to what Manish does. And as a maintainer, in addition to having the laddering and making sure that we are improving the code base, there's also some responsibility to direct where the SDK goes. So you'll be merging more pull requests, and you'll also be like thinking on a higher level, what does the SDK as a whole need? So rather than saying like we're missing, you know, functionality in account ID, it will be like, okay, and that's the case in lots of other classes. In general, we're missing this sort of higher level functionality. I spend a lot of time trying to create like a welcoming environment with that. So that's something that I would like to see, being able to share the responsibility a little bit with that. So to me, what I would want to know is that you want to be part of these roles. So if any of you guys are interested in being triage, in being committer or being maintainer, please let me know and I will consider that. So let me know, just to make sure I've not missed anybody that is interested in this, and I will review compared to what we are looking for, whether you meet that, and if you don't, I will tell you, and if you do, I will propose you to the rest of the Hiero team. I need to justify why everyone qualifies. So yeah, if you're able to help me out with that, that would be great. Cool. So I think we've kind of maybe run out of time. Just in the last minute, I am trying to investigate Linux Foundation mentorships. I have some ideas. I have a lot of things written up. I would like to progress on that. And as soon as people are back from holiday, I will see if I can get that done. But that means if anybody wants to be a mentor or a mentee, please let me know. Being a mentor is a really rewarding experience, and being a mentee will also be. So let me know if that's interested to you. I might reach out to a couple of people that may want to be a mentor, but if not, I think I will be having a go at that anyway. And yeah, I will try and see if I can get the rest of Hiero on board to approve that as well. Any other final questions? Okay, we'll talk about the safeguards and things next time. I'll write that down. And we will also talk about like how to implement all these intermediate issues and things. I hope by then we'll have had like that meeting, the third meeting, which is basically like finding the intermediate and the advanced blockchain issues. thanks everyone so much for attending and your time, and also sharing like what you would like to see in the Python SDK. So thanks very much, and see you in a couple weeks for the same call. Bye.